Jeremy is going to pause your music, but that is okay. All right, we're live streaming on YouTube. All right. Welcome to RMFI's Thrive Business Accelerator final event. We're at the Capstone presentation final event. Really excited to have you all here with us. I'm going to start sharing my screen. Just going to stop that great music, but thank you, Jeremy, for having that. And we're going to get started. All right, give me a thumbs up if you can see my screen. Awesome. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Super helpful. All right. Yes, the final event. Here we go. So this is the agenda for the evening. We're just going to quickly do an overview of the program, just for anybody who's new and joining, who doesn't really know what's going on. We're going to explain a little bit about what we do at RMFI and in this program in particular. We're going to talk about our mentors and do a big thank you, run through our capstone presentation. So each entrepreneur is going to present the project they've been working on for the past 3 months, which is super exciting. And everyone will have 6 minutes to present, and then we'll have a couple of questions afterwards. We're going to talk about ongoing support after the TBA and then close out the night at 7:30. I know most of you, but I'm just going to remind you all, if you don't know me, I'm Emily Collins. I'm RMFI's education coordinator. I use she, her pronouns, and I am your facilitator for the night. All right, this visual is something that really helped me when I started at RMFI because it just walks through the entrepreneur journey with our support. So we really are dedicated to supporting every entrepreneur from the beginning of an idea of exploring if I want to be an entrepreneur at all, through launching your businesses, through growing them and getting them where you want them to go. And so we are here to support for like 10 years down the line, 15 years down the line, we are here to support you and your businesses. And to me, that is really special. And so now we're going to talk about the TBA, the Thrive Business Accelerator. This program was developed because we had heard from RMFI bootcamp grads, from some, not everyone, but from a lot of folks, that having a more intensive program, to having a cohort, having more access to capital and mentorship would be awesome. And so bootcamp is an amazing experience. And that's the beginning for a lot of people of their entrepreneurial journey. The TBA is a 10-week program that is designed to support RMFI entrepreneurs to increase efficiency in their businesses and strengthen their businesses. After a really tough 2 years, we know that the economy looks really different. We know that people's businesses and plans, even if they were incredibly strong before, everything was thrown for, what was completely changed after the pandemic hit. And so I personally have just been so in awe of all the entrepreneurs that I work with and that we work with at RMFI, who have found ways to keep going, who have found ways to be really creative and really resourceful to support themselves, their families, and their communities. And so it has been just a really awesome experience being able to get to know some of these entrepreneurs. With this program, when someone's accepted into this program, they get pre-approval for up to $1,000 loan at 0% interest, educational workshops, and lab sessions that happen twice a week. So every entrepreneur who completed this program, we started with 10, we're completing with all 10 entrepreneurs, and every single one of them has shown up to be at these sessions every Monday and Wednesday for the past 3 months, which is pretty incredible and not an easy thing to do. It's pretty awesome. So we got to work with expert presenters talking about many different topics to help strengthen our businesses. Got weekly one-on-one mentor meetings, which we're gonna get into in a little bit. A community of RMFI entrepreneurs to support, to brainstorm ideas and to encourage each other to keep going. And then this capstone project, which is the final culminating project of the entire program. And that's what we're gonna hear a lot more about tonight. So just to give a quick overview of kind of what we cover in this program, we hit so much. You might recognize the 4 pillars of business that we talk about a lot in bootcamp. In the Thrive Business Accelerator, we're getting to even higher level content in each of these topics and really digging into what are some automations that can be used in marketing and operations, in financials, in management. And so these topics on the right-hand side are what we were focusing on each week. And we had 2 sessions each week focusing on each of these topics, which is pretty awesome. And on the left, you'll see the wonderful presenters who kindly joined us. Almost all of them joined for both evenings. Actually, this group of 8 people, 7 of the 8 came back from TBA 1 and facilitated again in TBA 2 in our second cohort to me, that was pretty incredible. They helped us develop the curriculum for the first cohort and then came back to make it even better for the second one. And we had one new person who kindly stepped up, who was amazing, who was Greta McCullough, who started in the first week. And I think we'll probably hear people reference her throughout because she did a really, really awesome job. This is a huge thank you to our mentors. And so I'm going to pass the mic over in a second to our wonderful volunteer coordinator, who's going to do a mentor raffle and mentor thank you. But these mentors, you know, I'm so unbelievably appreciative for the amount of time and care and dedication you put into this program and to building relationships with each of the entrepreneurs that you've been working with over the past 3 months. If we can all unmute really quickly and just give a big round of applause for these 10 amazing mentors, I would love that.
Yay.
Guys, love a good virtual cheer. Each of these mentors committed to getting to know the entrepreneur as a whole person and spending each week getting to support their businesses and listen to them and help support their goals. And so these mentors are incredible. I've just been really blown away. We had a couple came back. We had Scott Zimbalin and Chris Hunter, who were mentors in the first TBA cohort and came back for round number 2. And I'm just so grateful for all the work that y'all put in. And every single week I heard from entrepreneurs, like specific stories about how their mentor was supporting them and giving them great ideas and brainstorming with them. And that's just pretty special. So I'm now going to pass it over to Emma for our mentor raffle.
Thanks, Emily. You said everything I was going to say, so amazing. But yes, just huge thank you to all of our mentors. It's really great to see all of you. I haven't seen our mentors' faces since our training that kicked off this program back in early September. So really great to see all of you, and thank you so much for all the work that you've done over the past couple of months. Like Emily said, we've just heard such awesome things from all of the entrepreneurs in this program about your, expertise and patience and flexibility and advice and all of those awesome things. So just thank you. Again, special shout out to Scott and Chris, who have now been a part of all of the TBAs that have ever happened at RMFI. So thank you so much for being here. And we do have a quick raffle. Usually I do these live, but my internet is not working. So I already picked the person. But we are going to be raffling off a Thanksgiving pie, or if you can't pick it up before Thanksgiving, that's okay. We'll figure it out. From Bosco Baking Company, which is owned by Jessica Berry, one of our awesome RMMFI bootcamp grads. And that is going to go to our very own Chris Hunter. So congrats, Chris. Woo-hoo!
Lucky.
They look so tasty. I'm going to get one for you and probably get one for myself too, because they look amazing. But I will be in touch with you, Chris, about that shortly. So congrats. And you can go to the next slide. Cool. And then the last thing I will say is that we would love to have you guys back for our 3rd TBA cohort. We are doing this thing again, which is super awesome. It's going to be starting up in March and will run through May 2022. So definitely let me know if you're interested in learning more about those dates and are interested in participating again. Feel free to shoot me an email at any time. I will be in touch kind of more formally with some of the dates in the new year. So keep an eye out for that. If you're able to join us again, we would love to have you. Thanks so much. And I'll pass it back to Emily.
Thanks, Emma. One other shout out that I also wanted to make was Kathy Wessling, who kindly was a workshop provider last time as a financial projections, brilliant professional who has helped me understand financial projections and made numbers a lot less scary. She was an expert presenter who helped develop curriculum last time, came back to present again for TBA2, and also was a mentor. So just pretty awesome. Really appreciate that.
Hey, Kathy.
Yeah, just really awesome to have so many people continue on with us and help us make this program possible, because we really could not have done it without the 20 plus mentors and expert presenters that took part in this program. All right, Capstone Projects, what we're all here for. So Capstone Project, like what is a Capstone Project? It might be something that you've heard before, maybe not. Hopefully if you're, we've talked about this quite a bit, but the Capstone Project was a new idea that we developed. This is the first time that we're carrying it out with RMMFI and the TBA. And the Capstone Project is really the idea that each entrepreneur is going to able to choose a goal that they wanted to pursue during this program, something that they wanted to reach and tackle in the 3-month program. And the Capstone Project is that final project. And so tonight, every entrepreneur is going to present their Capstone project. The reality is each entrepreneur was putting in so much work on many different parts of their business during the past 3 months. But we did want to challenge entrepreneurs to say, what is something that you haven't, that has gotten in your way from moving forward? Is there a project that you've been meaning to do, but you haven't had the support or the expertise or capital to do it? Let's take some time to focus on that. And so that is what the Capstone Project is. So this event is so much fun to me for many reasons, but we're going to learn a lot tonight about very different things from each business. So that is something that I think is super special. And I'm excited to hear each entrepreneur talk more about their project in particular. So with the presentations, each entrepreneur will get 6 minutes to present what they've been working on. And like I said, each of these entrepreneurs, I think the hardest thing is cutting it down. Each of them could talk for 30 to 45 minutes about this particular work that they've been doing. So I think the biggest challenge is honestly, how do you pare that down and only talk about it for 6 minutes? So each person will present for 6 minutes, and then our wonderful mentors and a couple of panelists from the RMFI staff have volunteered to ask some questions. And so after, the reality is we're probably only going to have 1 to 2 questions after each entrepreneur, just because of trying to end at 7:30 and ending on time. But after each presentation ends, we'll clap, and then I'll say, does any mentor or member of our staff panel want to ask a question? You can unmute and ask away. You can ask about their projects, their business, their next steps, their takeaways, whatever comes to mind, whatever questions come up for you. But we'll probably do 1 to 2 questions for each entrepreneur. This is a presentation order. I typed it in the chat as well, and maybe I'll post it again. Also, I'm looking at the chat now and realize that Greta is here, which is awesome. Thanks for joining us, Greta. She was the wonderful woman who I said facilitated our first week of programming. She is a branding expert. So this is the presentation order. And we'll just keep on running after that. I want to check in on the panel. So that's all of our mentors who are welcome to ask questions to the entrepreneurs when they're done presenting. And then we are fortunate enough to have our wonderful, a couple of staff members who are helping out too. Ramalis Gray, who's an entrepreneur and RMFI trainer. Sarah Kraft, who's RMFI's marketing and communications coordinator. And then Jeremy Katz, who is RMFI's regional program manager. So thank you all for taking part. Liz, I think you are raising your hand, which is perfect for any questions before we begin. Liz, you unmuted, but I'm not hearing you, and now I'm seeing your chat about testing the mic. Maybe it's also trying to sign on your phone and talking through having that audio, but we cannot hear you at this time. Okay, I hope we can figure it out, Liz. We'll figure it out. If nothing else, calling on your phone hopefully will work. All right, any other questions before we get started? No, okay, all right, let's go. We have Bria Butler who's gonna start first. And so I know it's a little awkward because I'm sharing my screen, but just let me know when, just say next and I'll hit next and bring us along.
Great. Well, hello everyone. My name is Chef Bria, owner of Bria's Italian Fusion, and today I would love to talk to you a little bit about my business. Next slide. All right, so a little bit about my business. Well, I started in 2014, and that was a whole like 8 years ago. So I've been doing this for a while. I started as a caterer, and I also did cooking classes for underprivileged youth. But so now in 2021, I am trying to transition out of being a caterer into getting a food truck within the next 2 years. That is my big goal, and I am working toward that. I will still offer catering services, and starting in January 2022, I will also be offering in-person cooking classes, because after the couple of years we've all had, we need to get back in person as safe as possible and learn some new skills. So if you would like to join a cooking class, then just keep on watching this presentation and I'll show you how to follow me. All right, next slide. All right, so what was my focus? Obviously, the capstone is a big deal. It's a way to kind of think about what's the major thing important to me with my business and what I need help with the most. And so I realized that in the last 8 years, I really struggle with numbers. I've never been a strong math major or anything like that. And so that was a problem in my business. And so moving forward, I really wanted to create a full accounting and financial system for my future, to just help my business grow and ensure success in the future. So that was my main focus. We can go to the next slide. All right, so why is building an accounting and financial system a priority for my business? Well, like I mentioned, in 2 years, I would like to buy a food truck. Well, they're really expensive. So I need to understand my financial goals so that I can, reach that goal of a food truck and, understand my numbers. Well, what Thrive helped me do is determine, what was important the most. And that's how I was able to understand that it's definitely the numbers in the financial system. They also helped me with that because they helped me redevelop a financial projection plan or strategy. And that really helped me to understand where I need to go from where I am now in order to get that food truck in the next 2 years. All right, next slide. Okay, so what were the steps? Well, obviously I had to create a accounting system, right? So I had to understand what I need for that system. So what tools do I need? What help do I need? And how do I integrate those tools and the help into my current systems that I've been using for the last 8 years? And so the next step was to integrate that system. So I had to hire a bookkeeper for my taxes. I've never filed business taxes. And, that was something that was really important to me to keep my business successful and legal going forward. And so I decided to use QuickBooks for that. And then I decided on QuickBooks because it works great with all my current systems. And all of these tools will help me develop a great tracking system for my profit and loss statements, which will help me understand the numbers better each month. Next slide. All right, so how will the accounting system help? Well, like I mentioned earlier, I need funding. Food trucks are expensive. And so having a accounting system will help me understand the numbers, which will help me be able to get funding. I'm hoping that I can get the funding of $25,000 through RMMFI's amazing loan program. But there's steps to get there. So having this accounting system in place will really help me on the pillars of success to really get to that point. And it'll also keep me on track for my taxes so I can see my business growth in real time, so I can understand my revenue and my losses. But what I'm most excited about is that it will help me create jobs. There is a huge amount of people, especially in Aurora, that are not eligible for common work because of past lives or immigrant status or whatever have you. And so me building my business and getting this accounting system will allow me for funding so that I can give these people jobs because they want to be a valuable asset to the community. And regular systems are not helping them to get there. So I would like to be able to provide them with jobs. And then also it will help me grow and expand my business. And I learned the importance of that in branding through Krita, who taught us in our first week. And then next slide. Okay, so final thoughts. Well, I just would love to say once again, and I've said this to my class a lot, but I am so grateful for Thrive. I felt so welcomed and I felt so, I just felt so open. I just felt like I was just talking to a group of friends the whole time. And I'm really thankful for that. I'm really thankful for everyone's openness and kindness. In entrepreneurship, you feel alone a lot. And so it was nice to feel heard with that. And then I just have to say, I'm super grateful for RMMFI. I started with them in 2018, and I am just over the moon that I am still connected with them, and I hope to keep connected with them in the future. Next slide. All right, so where can you find me? All right, so if you would love to see my monthly newsletter, go ahead and take out your phone and scan that left QR code. That's going to get you to sign up for my newsletter. It's going to be a great way for you to keep it on track with me, see what I'm doing via email. And if you would like something a little bit more, 2021, you can definitely follow my Instagram, and you can see everything I'm doing there and see my progress to get that food truck within the next 2 years. And also I have a website, briasitalianfusion.com, and you can always email me at info@briasitalianfusion.com. I'm really glad I got a chance to talk to you all a little bit more about my business, and I really am excited to see everyone else's presentation. Thank you.
All right. Starting off strong.
I love it. Amazing job, Bria. I would love if a mentor or one of our 3 staff members who volunteered to ask questions, if anybody has a question for Bria about her project, about her business, about her next steps, would love to hear it.
Hey, Bria, do you have any events coming up that you want to give a plug for?
Yes, thank you, Scott, my mentor. He's watching out for me. Yes, so I will be at the downtown Lakewood Bazaar, Holiday Bazaar, December 18th and 19th. It varies per day, but you can find me around between 12 p.m. and 8 p.m. each day, Saturday and Sunday, December 18th and 19th in Lakewood.
Amazing. Yeah, love that plug. Definitely feel free to type any of your links or that event in the chat so that people can remember it and follow it. I think we have time for one more question if somebody else wants to ask a question to Bria.
I have my hand up.
It's always tough because I know Zoom is awkward and we're just going to have to deal with it. I think I see Lorraine raising her hand. Lorraine, do you want to ask a question?
Yeah, my belly wants to know when your meal food prep starts.
January 2022, when I officially reopen.
Awesome. Thank you all. Clearly, everyone's trying to eat your food, even though they were also very impressed and I'm sure excited to hear about your accounting and financials and organizing that. It's also
I hope that I told enough about the accounting and financials. Like I hope I did a good job.
You did a wonderful job. I'm sure it's always an awkward balance in these Zoom things. And I heard 4 people unmute and want to ask questions, but we are going to keep going just because I'd rather finish early than realize that I'm way behind late. Great job, Bria. Thank you so much for your openness and enthusiasm and warmth the entire time in this cohort. You're awesome. We appreciate you. And thanks for being willing to go first. All right. Next up, we have Brittany K.
Jesus Christ.
Woo, woo.
Hello, everyone. Hi, my name is Brittany. I'm the owner of Native Concierge. I am from Colorado. I started the company back in 2016, shortly after graduation. I went to the Metropolitan State University of Denver and got my bachelor's in hospitality. I'm currently a concierge at a residential building, but I'm hoping next year to be working for myself and offering these services listed below to the right. Next slide, Emily. Thank you. So Native Concierge is a hospitality resource that curates gifts and experiences for busy professionals. I launched keytodenver.com last year as like a way to keep supporting small businesses and for people to be able to navigate for themselves through Colorado. You are more than welcome to please use this QR code while I'm presenting, but if not, please look at it later. You can hold up your phone if no one knows how to and take a picture. But life is really different, as we all know, and it's just kind of hard getting back in the groove of things, meeting back up with friends, family, keeping track of your mental and physical health and work. So I hope next year I'll be able to help people that would like my assistance in organizing and prioritizing things that are important to them. With memberships. Next slide. My Capstone project is was a business plan. This accelerator program was so great. it really helped me map out my journey and my goals for the next year, project financials, just create a real clear view of what I'm going to be doing. I just didn't have any of that a few weeks ago. So it's amazing to have that now. The 3 takeaways were branding, projecting financials, and sales. All the presenters did an amazing job helping us out with that. So I'm just going to share a little bit of those 3 takeaways. Next slide. So Creta was amazing with branding. I already had a logo, but she really brought like a personality to my brand. We were able to take this really fun test, and these were the 3 characters that I were a magician, sage, and ruler. And I really just like change, renewal, transformation, reality. Like that's what I want to help people with, is like leadership and taking control and organization in their lives. And all of that responded in my test. The Key to Denver box is what I will be offering next year on my website. It is a Black Label custom box. You'll get 4 to 5 full-size products from local businesses. And I'm going to be offering personal same-day delivery in the metro area. Next slide. My financials, I'm happy the line's going up. That's always good. So I'll have a lot of cash on hand because of the inventory I'll be purchasing. The projected net profit isn't great, but it's positive. So yeah, I was able to project the next 12 months, and I'm not mad at it. You can next slide, Emily. One of the sales funnels that I was able to create with the box service was, it was really fun because I don't know, like I don't know if you guys know about a sales funnel, but it just all leads back to getting that sale. And so one of my ways of getting a lead or a sale was a social media advertisement, which will lead them directly to my website and or a contact form for a sale, and cold calls, emails, walk-ins for a direct sale or setting up a meeting. Next slide, Emily. And why a business plan for the money? No, but really just honestly a plan, being able to apply for loans. I want to apply for loans so I can get a company vehicle next year. It's not next year, in the next 2 years. I'm just setting my goals real high for myself. But also to purchase inventory, flip that inventory, and hopefully like secure my identity. I would like to trademark Key to Denver so no one can take it from me. But next slide. And my 1-year growth plan, obviously this business plan, launching this consistent box service and having sales, building traffic to my website, working full-time, hiring somebody, having contracts, like I mentioned, trademarking, possibly hiring another employee. And then once I get my vehicle, I would like to offer that service to my members that I'll be taking care of next year. And next slide. And I do have a little video that I created a commercial about a couple years ago. And ideally, it just gives an idea of what I was doing back then and what I want to get back to.
Awesome. Give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down if you can.
Thumbs up.
Hear it, or if you can't hear it. Okay.
Oh.
I'm gonna. Oh, sorry. Going back to that. Oh. When I click it, it's getting mad at me. All right, I'm going to share my screen do a new share because I pulled it up separately as well, just in case something like this happened.
Sorry, Emily.
Oh, you're fine. No need to apologize.
Emily, it looks like it's back, I think.
Can you hear it?
You can hear it. It's very loud.
Hello,
my name is Brittany Kay. I'm the owner of Native Concierge. And if you're ever looking for a fun, unique experience in Colorado, contact me and live local.
I thought that was super, super cool. I think that is the moment when everyone wants to clap. I can see people be like, yeah. Brittany, do you have any
Thank you, Emily.
before we do unmute?
Thank you. You're awesome. Thank you for that. No, so I do have a 2-year-old. Sorry. He's just a minute, Baba. If anyone needs to contact me, that is my email, my phone number, and again, my QR code. Thank you so much, everybody.
Yay, if everyone wants to unmute.
Amazing.
Awesome.
Really great work, Brittany. I am so impressed with how, I'm so impressed with you for a million reasons, but really great work. I know I received her business plan. I know she's working on her financials as well. And her business plan is this incredible document filled with research, filled with really analyzing her business and potential. And so I just was blown away by that. And yeah, great work, Brittany. Thanks for that support, Bria, as well.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. We are going to go to our next, oh no, we're going to do questions. Does anybody have a question for Brittany Kay about her business, about her takeaways, next steps? Any questions? Feel free.
I have a question.
Thanks, Sarah.
Hi, Brittany. First of all, I just want to celebrate you for your awesome presentation. That was great. Yeah. Curious, with the Key to Denver boxes, are you using local products, and how are you distributing those? Are those primarily for events, individuals, groups that are visiting here?
Essentially, I'm going to be selling them. Oh my God, please hold, son. Okay. So come here. I'm going to be selling the boxes online, and people can purchase them directly, or I am going to be targeting though, like business professionals, like real estate agents, or people that run their own businesses that may particularly be too busy to purchase a gift, or create an experience for their friends that are in town. So I can do groups. I was going to do different themes. So there's like home, a housewarming box. I have I Love My Pet box. I have I'm gonna have a subscription box. So I'm gonna try to play with it next year and see what works.
Awesome, I love it.
Thank you, Sarah.
Yeah, you definitely, I know that supporting other local businesses has been something that you're really passionate about. And so I'm excited for you to be able to support other small businesses in the area as well. Like the wonderful businesses in this cohort. We're gonna go to the next presenter. Really great job, Brittany. And we're gonna go to the one, the only Matt Curry, the only male in this cohort who really stood his own. I think he's the only one who could have done it because he has just like the most personality. It's great to have you. Matt, are you ready to present?
All right, hello everybody. This is Matthew Curry of Chef Curry's Cuisine with my usual guest on my lap who's going to leave now. And my capstone was to work on my marketing plan. One of my business mentors a long time ago made a great point. Everybody in business is really good at one thing. And for everything else, they're going to need somebody to help them out. And marketing is my weakness. I have zero marketing game, but I decided to build a marketing plan. My mentor gave me a great marketing template that I used. And the first thing about that is something we'll talk about in the next slide. So first thing I needed to figure out was really to define my target customer. Because as I've been in business, I've known who my target customer is, but getting pushback and getting challenged on it made me really realize who is my real target customer. My target customer is the busy working family, usually with a kid, usually a homeowner, usually in the 70 plus range for income, with a combined income of 2 households with both people working. And I really want to work with them because they are people, they have more money than time, and they want to eat real food. And I can help them do that in a way that will be shown on the next slide. What I do with Chef Curry's Cuisine is I'll first sit down with the customer, design a 5-entree menu catered to their flavor and nutritional needs. Then I cook for them 2 weeks with the Monday through Friday dinners. Usually it's 4 portions of 5 entrees. What you're seeing there is a picture of my real food that I cooked, had a professional picture done taken a few years ago. And it's all handled by me. I do all the cooking as of now at a commissary kitchen. I'll cook their customized meals, deliver them to them, and all they have to do is reheat and enjoy. They're left with safe reheating, safe food handling instructions. It's something they can literally take all the worry about the meal, whether they're going to get the next meal, off their plate. Next slide, please. The next step in my marketing plan was really getting down to my competition. And one of the things I realized after doing some research for a day is a lot of my competition for personal chefs in the area, they're all about the minutia of how the service works, which is something that I was not, my customers, they don't care about that. They don't want to know how much, here's what they want to know. They want to know, okay, how many meals am I going to get? How much is it going to cost me? How's it going to work? They don't want to deal with the details some of my competition has, which is, okay, we're going to charge you $53 an hour for the cooking. We're going to charge you for the price of the groceries. My customers are going to wonder, well, how long is it going to take to cook? How much are the groceries going to cost? No. They don't care. They want X, Y, Z. They want it now, and they want it simple. Next ad. And the way I'm going to reach those customers is something I'm going to talk about in the next slide, which is Google AdWords. And working with my mentor, we've realized probably the best way for me to reach my customers is by using Google AdWords, really customizing my website, really honing in on how I can reach my customers and what I can do for them. Like, how am I going to make their lives easier? And that's really what the marketing plan showed for me and gave me a great opportunity to really hone in on what I need to do and how I need to do it. We will go on to the next slide, please, which I think is the second to last slide. Yes, so my goal is for the TBA. My mentor made a great point that I've wanted to hire people starting after the first of the year. But as we learned in the cohort, if I start building my plan for getting an employee on January 1st, that is not going to work. I'm going to be starting on December 1st, building my job description, working on who I want to hire, how I want to hire them, what they need to do, and how I can work with them. And I've already got a good plan in place. I've already got a payroll company that I'll be working with that's going to be handling all of that, because as I said earlier, when you're great at one thing, let everybody else handle something else. Next slide, please. And if you are really interested in finding out more about Chef Curry's Cuisine, you can visit my website at chefcurryscuisine.com. You can email me at chefcurryscuisine@gmail.com, or you can check out a list of all of my recipes. I'm not shy about sharing recipes. Food is something that should be shared. I'm a firm believer in that. You can see that as one of my, you can find that on a button on the front page of my website, or you can call or text me at Chef Curry's Cuisine at 720-404-2798. Thank you very much. Questions, please.
Woo! Can everybody give Matt Curry a round of applause? Great job, my friend.
I want to interject real quick here. I apologize to Chef Bria for clearing my throat during your presentation. I thought my phone was mic'd. Sorry about that.
You're good. I might have been the only one who noticed it, and I quickly muted you. So that's host powers. You're good. Great job, Matt. I really loved how you so smoothly told me when to move to the next slide, because that's always an awkward thing, and you did it beautifully. Do we have any mentors or anyone from our team that wants to ask a question about Matt's business, his project, his next steps, his takeaways, anything like that? We can do 2 questions for Matt, because he went quick.
I have a question. I have all the questions. So within everybody who's on, the fad diets or the allergies, and how does that work out with your cost of goods? Do you end up I'm trying to get my words here. My brain is tapped today. What I'm trying to say is, does it cost different if you have, say I call you, I want 3 meals a week and I'm gluten intolerant. So do you have to get a special like pricing for someone who has issues versus the standard, or how does that, like, have you worked that out in there?
I know what you're trying to ask. Not
Yeah.
usually, it's not
Okay.
usually extra. I've been in business since 2013, and all of my food follows what I call the Mediterranean diet cuisine. It follows the Mediterranean diet guidelines. It's all naturally gluten and dairy free, and it's all customizable. I can, if you have something you want to work out, I'll figure it out. We can work, for example, if a customer wants to go all organic, my price for 2 weeks with the Monday through Friday dinners for a couple starts at $350. And if you want to go all organic, that's an extra $75 upcharge. Or if you have anything else special like that, I'll figure it out.
Okay, awesome.
Great question, Lorraine. Does anybody else have a question for Matt Curry about his business, project, takeaways? Ethel.
I have a quick question. So Matt, great job. And, you know, one of the things that I was wondering about is when you think about your market, have you ever thought about tackling delivery service to like the elderly? Like, you know, people like me, we've got the old parents and the young kids, like who's going to feed everyone when, right? So I wonder if that would be a marketing idea, just even simple on nextdoor.com. Like, hey, do you have elderly parents? Want me to bring them dinner twice a week? I don't know if that's an idea you thought about, just as a separate revenue stream from like the mom and dad, the 2-income family that are just too busy or whatever.
That is something I've thought about, although I do know most of the time when I get a referral, when I get a customer who wants that, I have another chef that I refer them to who specializes in elderly meals.
The specialty thing. Okay.
Yep. It's not something I would say no to. I've done in the past, but it's not my target market. I really do want to help those busy working families.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Awesome. Thank you, Ethel. I really appreciate that. I am doing a plug to check out Matt Curry's website because I think it's beautiful and really well done. And I know that marketing is something that you've named that you struggle with, but what you're putting out in the world is pretty awesome. So check out that website. He has recipes on there. He has so much great information in there, and it's beautiful in terms of that, like marketing and branding. Really great work.
Thanks, Emily.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Thank you, Matt. Really appreciated that. Next up, we have Latasha Bell.
Hello, guys. How are you?
Hey, Latasha.
Hey. So what I'm going to say is skip, just to keep it simple. And so you can, okay, right here. So my name is Latasha Bell. I'm a dream chasing licensed esthetician and soap maven. I'm the owner of Ashe Soaps. I produce natural and organic handmade soaps that are artfully designed and beautifully scented. Skip. So I'm going to give a brief overview of my capstone project, my pivot to B2B, with a quick hit on financials, my margins, and my future plans. Skip. So I've celebrated some amazing moments on my journey, from celebrity shout outs to small magazine mentions to gaining local support. But with that momentum, my business wasn't thriving. I left a lot of money on the table due to personal issues and not having systems in place. When I started, it made sense to frequent craft shows that were easy to get into and the money was decent. Skip. You can skip that page. I love craft shows. However, it is an expensive grind with factors that can set you back. The average craft show is going to run you about $300 to $1,500. And I primarily make my money from craft shows until the pandemic hit. And at that point, I realized how vulnerable I was by not diversifying my revenue streams. At that point, I realized, I needed to make a change. Go ahead and skip. The shutdown forced me to consider other options to generate revenue. So my plans are to pivot B2B and to the wedding industry as a supplier of custom soaps as wedding favors. For B2B, I'm aiming to acquire wholesale accounts to small boutique hotels. Skip. So I've decided, I've been reserved and ill-prepared approaching larger businesses. I wanted to put together a proposal that would put me in a position to be more polished and professional when acquiring wholesale accounts. So in this proposal packet, I'm going to have a company overview as well as my contact info, a bio, media mentions just to legitimize my brand, the benefits of handmade soaps, because a lot of people don't really know about handmade soaps, a wholesale straight sheet, a beautiful sample of the product, and a specific letter to the buyer. It's smart before approaching any of these companies to actually do some research so that I can sell myself and better negotiate. Skip. So shifting to financials, I think the greatest lesson I've learned, shout out to Jeremy, if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense, cats. The greatest lesson is to always watch your margins. Your numbers are important and they tell a story. It actually determines the health of your business. So pivoting to boutique hotels, I want to offer a 2.5 ounce bar in bulk. The cost to me at 48 cents, and I'm going to sell that bar for $2.75, which is going to yield a profit of 82.6%. Wedding favors. With the wedding industry, I have a bit more leeway in regards to the price. So I'm going to offer that same 2.5 ounce bar that's customized with color, initials at the same cost to me, but I'm going to sell that bar more of a retail price at $4 a bar. That's going to yield me an 88% profit. And just a good rule of thumb, moving forward, I'm aiming to keep my margins around 88% for scratch-made products. Go ahead and skip. And for my proposal package, Patrick also gave me a good idea to watch my costs, so that proposal packet is going to be offered digitally as well to offset the cost of printing. Now I'm going to shift to my brand clarity. Shout out to Krita. I have a clear vision of where I want to go with my brand. I understand my values, I understand my language, and I'm in a better position to present myself online. I know exactly the message that I want to present. As an example, my tone is more casual and sometimes provocative. With the information that I've gained from Krita, Ashe will forever urge women to be emboldened and boundless. I've learned so much information from Krita that I had to go back and revise my brand. So I actually made a change to my mission statement that I think is more me and more specific to the women that I'm trying to reach. Hashtag nourish the skin, nourish the soul. Go ahead and skip. Looking at the numbers with my mentor revealed a slimmer margin, chasing craft shows after your expenses are paid. It really yields a slimmer margin, especially after everything is paid and after you consider the logistics of what it takes to actually participate in a craft show. From that point, we realized that I have a greater opportunity focusing on my retail space, because the overhead is actually not as expensive as participating in a craft show 2 and 3 times a month. Learning what I've learned in regards to my brand, it puts me in a greater position to aggressively market to draw customers into the retail space and my online presence. Skip. So my future plans, I'm seeking to bold walk 2 boutique hotels a month, and I'm looking to establish relationships with the wedding planners to create a new extension of revenue. So that's primarily what I'll be focusing on. When the sales permit, When production permits and I'm needing help, then I'll seek to hire someone to help me. Skip. You can find me at my retail space off of 725 Santa Fe Drive, as well as online at ashesoaps.com. I'm still working on my social media presence, but we'll soon have that up. I'm still working with my mentor. And also I want to say shout out to Ethel for dreaming big with me, and pulling me back down to earth when I needed to be humbled, and just walking with me. Ethel, you are an amazing mentor. And I thank you for everything that you've done for me these past 3 months. Thank you so much.
Let's give a round of applause for Latasha and Ethel. Amazing.
Latasha.
Thank you.
Did an amazing job. I know you've been practicing it over and over today. You didn't get much sleep with your baby, and like I'm so impressed. You did an amazing job. Really great work. I was wondering if we have somebody who wants to ask a question of Latasha and her business plan, her next steps, her project.
I do. I guess it's a little off, but it's going to segue. But you got some amazing smelling soaps. What inspires you? How do you come up with those fragrances or those pair those?
Sometimes I'm sparked by memories. Sometimes I'm sparked by requests of customers. And really, when you're blending, you really just have to research and kind of play with scents to see what it is you like. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell.
You know, I like the citrus, right? So
I know your favorite. I got you.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing that. Do we have one more person who wants to ask a question of Latasha? Oh, I see Sarah Kraft has a question.
Yeah. Hi, Latasha. I love your logo. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
For your target market at the boutique hotels, is the goal to have your soaps in each of the guest rooms, or are they more like once in a while gifts?
Primarily starting, I'm wanting to be in the room. So with soap, I can do a lot of different things. I can design the soap. I can customize the soap with liquids. So let's say, I believe the Source Hotel, they have different colored rooms. So I can do a soap in the color of the room with the logo stamped on the soap. I'm wanting to do wedding favors as well. So with that, I can do the colors of the soap, whether it's a man-made color, or a natural color, depending on the bride's choice, and stamp the initials in the soap. So you can really go to a lot of different places with the creativity. You're only bound by your creativity. But to start, I'm wanting to be in the room. So primarily, I'm going to start with small boutiques. So the hotel is going to have no more than 50 to 100 rooms to start.
And then sorry. And how often would you be supplying the soaps to the hotel? Would it be on a weekly basis?
Well, it depends on the turnover.
Gotcha.
So when moving into a space, I would have to, upon meeting with the buyer, they would let me know what the turnover is. So if the room is filled every day, it depends on how long they're in the room. So if they shift rooms or clean the rooms every 4 days, then I would break that number down to the amount of soaps that they would need that month.
Awesome. Yeah, I like that. I was reading the chat. I was like, yeah, maybe you need to coordinate with Brittany.
Yeah, I'd like.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Latasha, and for the questions. You did an amazing job. I hope you can now just like relax and enjoy it. But I loved all the ways in which you mentioned different concepts that you learned from throughout the program, from whether that was marketing or from your automation tools, financial forecasting, that growth planning and long-term planning. Like really awesome. Great job, Latasha. All right, we're gonna have Liz next. I'm really hoping sound is working. Let's try it out, Liz.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Sweet.
Heck yeah. All right, let me to go next.
Thank you. So my name is Elizabeth Guy, and I'm with Linton Creations. If we can go to the next slide, please. Part of the reason why I joined this particular cohort was because I found a really high accountability with the goals that I wanted to do. So the primary for me in the pandemic was that I needed to have a website because not unlike my peers, I found that doing shows was not a profitable thing for me, not just because of the pandemic, but also because it's a lot of work and you have to make it pay for itself. And when you do a show and you account for all of your financials and you end up staying in the red instead of meeting the black in a profit margin that you need, you decide that that's not really where you want to go. So I decided in the pandemic that I was not going to do any more shows. I had quite a few people who were show organizers who didn't like that because apparently I put on a great show. But I decided that I needed to do some rebranding and rework my logo and work on marketing strategies and build a new website. Next slide, please. So as I went through my journey, which I've said most of it right here, one of the things that I noticed was that when we can't put a product in their hand, they really like detailed pictures. So one of the benefits of doing a free show while I was amidst the TBA, there we go, that's the word I was looking for. I realized that really detailed pictures were exactly what I needed, so I'll probably hire a photographer and kind of move forward from there with better pictures of my jewelry as I'm rebuilding my website, preferably before Black Friday, but we'll see. I'm currently looking to hire, so if somebody knows somebody, yeah, that'd be great. Next slide, please. Some of the things that really influenced me in ways that are still sticking with me and I'm still trying to digest was Krita's rebranding and storytelling and the digital marketing. And that was really rich. That was really rich. So I'm still digesting that and working on my worksheets, which seems like something that you wouldn't be doing. But when you work full time and you've become a welder, and this is your part-time side hustle for at least a while until you can rebuild back up to the revenue you had pre-pandemic. Yeah, I really appreciate that the time and effort that was put into that, because that is definitely amazing. The other thing that I noticed was when I'm building my e-commerce presence, I'm using a lot more automation tools than I even knew about. As I sat and listened, I realized I was like, wow, because I'm putting 2 and 2 together as the weeks are like flying by, and realizing that my sales cycle needs help are some of the things that I really want to keep focusing on as I'm rebuilding my website, because there's things that you can tie into that I'm not utilizing, even though I'm already using a lot of automation tools. Next slide, please. Here's a picture of my website. Don't get used to it. Next slide, please. I took a slide shot. I took a screenshot of how popular my website is, and this, for me, completely justified not only the free education that's available through WordPress, but the fact that I actually need it. If we can back up, there we go. That's perfect. Wait, go forward. Perfect. Sweet. Thank you so much. So what I want to do is I want to revamp the shopping pages, because I really like the pictures that were taken at the show that I was at. And I think that was totally awesome. But I also want to include things that people don't necessarily know, and I always end up explaining. So I want to explain what steampunk is. I want to include a gallery of custom designs. Shout out to Jeremy. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. And include also things that I don't necessarily put on jewelry. I came across a steampunk dream catcher that I made, gosh, that must have been like 3 or 4 years ago. And then I ended up, I think that was 2018. Oh my gosh, it was in 2018 that I sold that dream catcher. And I ended up coming across that customer at 2 or 3 more shows. And he was seriously disappointed that I didn't have any more steampunk dream catchers, because that hung from his ceiling fan in his bedroom and inspired him. So those are things that I found I really need to get onto my website so people can see that. But I also want to create an entry page, which I thought was really cool. where it works as a link tree before you even go into my website. So all of my social media is there, and you can, then I don't have to pay an extra fee because that hits the financials really well. But I also would include like a vlog or blog that includes potential education things where I can do little classes online or go live, kind of like create content. So I'm staying in touch with my customers, kind of creating leads, but also working the CRM too, because I want to maintain those customers and keep them coming back for more. Next slide, please. This is just kind of what I've already talked about, kind of like once I get the website done, this is where I want to go. So including branching out more in social media. I had my teenager, which was a little awkward, tell me, Mom, you need to keep your personal stuff off of your professional page. And okay, so anyway, I also decided that I want to invest in better packaging branding. So I found these really cool wood stickers and a resource to do that. And I think that when you're in steampunk, having a wood sticker with gears and a couple of colors would be really awesome. Next slide, please. So lintoncreations.com is my website. I tried a QR code and it expired 3 days after I found it. So we're not using those right now until we find a better resource. I make and create reclaimed watch jewelry, and I do custom designs, and I'm on Instagram, Facebook, and occasionally I'm a twit. Thank you.
Yeah, can everybody unmute and give Liz a round of applause?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Really great job, Liz. I'm sorry for my computer panicking. I was trying to type in the chat and it just was like started to mess with your slide. So sorry about that.
It's totally okay. No worries.
Can we get one question from the group about Liz's business, next steps, her project? Feel free to unmute.
I have a question for Liz.
Thanks, Brandy.
How do you do with people bringing you jewelry, or like I have a wedding band that got damaged, but maybe I want to keep it, or maybe I want to donate it? How do you do that exchange?
That gets really sensitive because it's relative to what you want done with it. If you just want to donate it to me and take the cost off a custom order, we can do that. Or if you want to give it to me and have the cost taken off a piece of jewelry, that totally works too. It just kind of depends on what you want and what you have done. And I do that on a case-by-case basis. So I have done and will continue to do sentimental pieces. I had a woman bring me 2 of her mom's watches and I turned them into necklace pendants for her and her sister. I can do cremation items. And I say items because that can stretch anywhere from jewelry to a paperweight or, anything. So it really depends on what you want to do. I think that's why I love the fact that Jeremy came to me, because I had never done a piece like that before and I got to do it, and I thrive in challenging situations, especially time constraint ones. So that was totally awesome. I really enjoyed that. It's completely relative. That's why I say, and custom designs. So it can be as big or as small as your imagination can do it. That's one of the things that I love. One item that I made, I happen to be a Jim Croce fan, and he has a song called Time in a Bottle. So I made Time in a Bottle with a little pendant, and I sold one because she's like, oh my gosh, that's my favorite song. And I was like, yes, my weird shine. So this depends.
Thank you so much, Liz. You did an amazing job. Great work. Thank you so much for presenting. I'm so happy that the sound got working.
Yeah, me too.
Awesome. All right, next up, we're gonna have Danette Hollowell with Sticky Drip Waffle.
All right. Hello. Hi, everyone. My name is Danette Hollowell. I'm owner and operator of Sticky Drip Waffles. Please push the button. where we serve fresh made protein packed waffles with sweet and savory toppings like whipped cream, fresh fruit cobbler, caramel sauce, and Cajun seasoned fried chicken. Sticky Drip Waffles has been serving late night eats and daytime treats to the Denver metro area since February of 2020. So coming up on our 2-year anniversary here in 2022. We've been pretty much operating out of 2 storage units, a tent, tables, and the trunk of my station wagon. I am the majority operator and I typically have my 1-year-old son in tow. Next slide, please. Okay, so because of that, for my capstone project, I chose to focus on methods of delivery. So methods of delivery to the customer. My focus is on brick and mortar versus a mobile food trailer. And this comparison, I included financial and non-financial metrics. Okay, there's a little battle of my brick and mortar and my food trailer right there. Next slide. So my main focus points of analysis were cost of setup and implementation, cost of operating, and time. Next slide. So the variance between implementation costs and setup, brick and mortar, what I would need to kind of get that going, get that off the ground, first and last month's rent, securing a space, get all the utilities, electric, water set up, perhaps install a sink depending on what space I get. Because I'm just electric and I'm not cooking or frying anything, I don't need a hood and vent and grease trap or anything like that. I just need to be able to get a hand washing sink and a sink for washing my dishes in. Furniture, other kitchen equipment, licensing for a brick and mortar, insurance, stuff like that. And then I would need 1 employee. For the food trailer, I need to get it registered because it's not even like, it doesn't even have a license plate. I own a food trailer, by the way, if I didn't mention that before, at the moment. And I'm currently paying fees to store it and it's not being used at the moment. I need to secure up to 1 to 5 vending locations. So really important. And secure monthly storage and draining. So if I am having it operable, I need to have a place where I can drain it, the gray water and things like that. And that costs money. Then I need multi-county licensing because moving a trailer around means moving to different counties, means different tax areas and requirements. Okay, next slide. All right, so the variance in operating costs in a brick and mortar, I'd be paying rent, utilities, my COGS, my cost of goods would be higher because I would need to produce more waffles too. It's a little bit more expensive in a brick and mortar, so I would need to produce more waffles. But, you know, again, having that space would give me the capacity to produce more waffles. And again, I would need to pay 1 employee, whereas the food trailer, I would have to travel to multiple food locations, and I would have to pay monthly commissary fees, monthly storage fees, which I'm already doing. The draining fees are actually extra. I would need a dependable vehicle to tow the trailer, which I don't have a hitch on my current vehicle, and gas, and then multi-county sales tax requirements. So as I'm doing that, I need the licensing, but then there's all types of requirements that I would need to keep up with when it comes to selling things in different tax areas. Next slide, please. Okay, so the variance in time requirement. So we did the setup and then just sort of overall operating and then time. So one of the workshops or labs that we did, we were tasked with how much are you spending, what are you spending your most time on? And so that was like really a big deal to me that I hadn't really thought about because again, I'm operating out of the back of my car with a tent and table. So in a brick and mortar, I would have minimal setup, you know, walking in, turning on lights, plugging things in, fewer trips to the grocery store since I would have in-house increased storage. Right now, again, I have 2 storage units that I'm operating out of. Less location specific and targeted customer marketing. So I wouldn't have to put as much time and effort into letting my customer know where I'm going to be all over town. I would just have one sort of consistent space to be at. And then I would have a standard and consistent hours of operation that I'm open and closed. Food trailer is extensive preparation and setup. Just like, again, I have my son. I am not interested in really lifting a trailer up and hitching it to anything and trying to back it into places and on a regular basis. In order to sort of meet the goals of profit that I want, I would be very busy and I would probably need to get a membership to the gym. I have to go to I'm required to go to the commissary kitchen regularly. In the event that I'm audited, I would need to show that I have been preparing food in that commissary kitchen. I would need more grocery store trips because I don't have the storage capacity to store food. So as of now, I'm going to the grocery store. Every time I have a pop-up, I have about 2 grocery store runs that are needed in order to get everything I need. And then draining the gray water takes time, and transporting my tent to and from the storage unit so that I have room in my car for the other things in my life. You know, I'm making 2 and 3 and 4 trips every pop-up to 2 different storage units. And then I just transporting supplies, and then multiple blasts, again, spending time on that to update customers on where I'm gonna be. Next slide. And travel, lots of time traveling on the road. All right, so after researching both delivery options, I concluded that the food trailer setup would be initially cheaper. However, long-term, the trailer would require a massive amount of time, physical labor, travel, storage costs, and upkeep costs. A brick and mortar would be more expensive initially to get started. However, the extra expense could be offset by increased production and volume capabilities in a space, while also offering my customers stability, a consistent location, hours of operation, and a dining area, which numbers have shown people spend money if they can sit down to eat. The food trailer, which I own outright, can still be utilized in addition to the brick and mortar for private events and a limited amount of rotating locations once the renovations are complete. So if there is a special event like Juneteenth or Taste of Colorado, that's when I can bust out my trailer and still make a profit off of that while not trying to stress myself out. I also have some ideas about doing a waffle Wednesday. Maybe that's where you're going to find the trailer, first Wednesdays of the month. The trailer is going to be somewhere new, but trying to keep up with moving that trailer to a location 4 days a week or whatever days a week is not something that I can commit to right now. So next slide. So the brick and mortar won in my eyes as far as the next move for delivery method. And I was able to get some really good concrete numbers with my mentor, Kathy, and I wasn't able to figure out how to get my workbook, which is beautiful. Okay, my numbers are like on point. I just didn't get my workbook to connect to the slides and be here today. But I'm looking at just a little profit over breaking even on my numbers for a brick and mortar at about $2,000 a month of rent, all of my fixed costs being about $7,000, and making about 55 waffles a day, 4 days a week would put me at $11,000 a month, with fixed costs being about $7,000, being able to pay myself as an employee and pay another employee and have a little bit on top for the first year. And so 55 waffles a day is a completely doable goal. Every time I pop up, sometimes 2-3 hours, I make about 30 to 40 waffles. So if I'm in a brick and mortar with shifts and hours and consistency, I'm confident that I could surpass that goal, that minimum goal, that conservative goal of 55 waffles a day pretty easily, again, with the dining option. Next slide, please. And so that's it. I got this handy dandy QR code now. Shout out to Bria for giving me inspiration on that one. You can scan that and that'll take you to the website and all of the social media things that I have going on. You can email that stickydripwaffles@gmail. If you need to get in touch with me, definitely give us a like or a follow on IG or Facebook. We're still available for pop-ups and private events, but 2022, my goal is to start shopping for a brick and mortar in the range of about $2,000 a month. I don't need much space. So let me know if y'all
Yes.
All right.
Amazing. Can everybody unmute and give Danette a wonderful, wonderful round of applause?
Great job, Danette.
That was amazing. We're not going to do any questions just because that one did go a little bit long, and but I didn't want to cut you off because I know you were walking it through so beautifully. I was going to mention that like you did an impeccable job. You made really well thought out, meticulously thought out financial projections, and then you were able to turn it into a beautiful, bright, colorful, interesting slideshow. And I think a lot of people can disconnect when they see a spreadsheet, and you just did an amazing job at making the numbers feel approachable, which is one of Kathy's specialties. So I'm so happy that you two got to work together and that you found some value.
Kathy's amazing. Thank you, Kathy.
Keep going, Danette. You've got it.
Amazing. All right. Thank you so much, Danette. Thank you, Kathy. Next up, we're going to go to Milad.
Hi, my name is Milad, and I own Milad Asset Insurance Agency, and I'm currently working with Farmers as my biggest insurance company, but I do have contracts with other insurance companies. Next slide. I offer business insurance, auto insurance, home insurance, life insurance, health insurance like dental, vision, hearing, Medicare Advantage, and Medicare supplements. Next slide. My capstone project was to follow up on my current leads and try to convert them to sales and track my financials to know my numbers and the value of my current marketing efforts to see how they're working and create new marketing strategies. Next slide. Okay. For my lead follow-up, I plan to follow up with people that I quoted, people that I was never able to get a hold of, people whose policies are expiring, and people who I was not able to beat on price, and contact people who have canceled their policies like 6 months ago or a year ago to see if I can give them a better rate. Next slide. And I want to track my track my records on my lead status, track my income, see how much money I'm bringing into the business, and how much I'm spending on marketing efforts, and track my financial projections to see where I'm at. Next slide. So evaluating my marketing efforts is trying to get if I want to track the different lead vendors that I'm using, trying to see if I'm getting a return on investment and which one, and calculate that which lead company the lead close ratio on each different lead vendor, so I can redirect my funds to a productive marketing effort and then invest in more marketing that is able to generate more revenue. Next slide. Okay. So for my marketing site networking strategy, I plan on using social media marketing. Right now I'm on Facebook, but I want to set up my other social media like Instagram and LinkedIn. I think those would be a good source of social media marketing. And I do want to distribute my business card and maybe do a lead generating box, like leave it at like auto dealership, as to see if people can request a quote, or different businesses, kind of network with different businesses and find events to attend and like set up a table to quote people and help them with their insurance policies. Next slide. So some of the concepts that helped me with the program was creating a financial projection and updating my financial workbook, so I know where my financials are, so I know my numbers. I think that really helps you see where your business is going, and you can kind of track how successful you are. So like tracking my leads to sales is one other concept that I got from the program. So I'm in the process. That's my next steps, is to track my leads. Next slide. Okay, this is my website. So if you go to my website, if you Google like Farmers Insurance Milat Asrat, you can get to this page. And I think at the bottom is my website, and you can just request a quote online, or I'll give you my contact info a little bit later. Okay. And then the results of my capstone project is to track my leads more efficiently, evaluate my marketing efforts, record my financials, my incomes and expenses to see where my numbers are, creating new marketing strategy. And I'm working with I'm planning on putting all this data on an Excel spreadsheet so I can track it and visually see everything in one place. And I'm planning to do it on a weekly basis. Okay, next slide. So again, my name is Milat Asrat. I own Milat Asrat Insurance Agency. If you want a business, auto, home, life insurance quote, I'm willing to give you a quote really quick. You can always call me at 303-881-9482, or you can email me at asrat@farmersagent.com, and let me know if you have any questions.
Woo! Can everybody unmute? Give me a big round of applause.
Good job.
Woo! Really great job, Milat. I really appreciate that you broke down kind of like, I think the list of it make it really helpful, like how you plan to track your leads more efficiently and evaluate your marketing records, efforts, and all of those pieces that we've talked about so much throughout the program is like, how do we also track the progress that we're making and use those numbers to decide if we want to continue with that or change things up. Thank you so much for walking us through that. And can we get one question for Milat from the group about her business project, next steps?
I do want to chime in. When we were initially going over stuff and we were working with Creta, I could just see Milat in one of the commercials that we had that are on TV, greeting the person at the door, like standing in the yard in front of the house. She just has that perfect, TV presence to be doing that commercial. So I've just been picturing her doing that. And then on her website, how she has those little hanging pictures. It just, I'm like, see, I told you, that's the beginning of her commercial. Those little scenes, what she offers, kind of like progressive style a little bit, but like a commercial. So that's what I see it as. Good job, Milat.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brandy. You did an amazing job, Milat. I also wanted to give a shout out to your mentor, Paul, who whenever we're doing mentor matches, we were really intentional about it and thinking about what what entrepreneurs name that they want to learn and what they want to do with their business. And in insurance, that is not a realm that many people know about. And so we're trying to get creative. And then we were able to, Paul quickly jumped in and was happy to take part as somebody who, I think you own your own insurance agency, correct? And have been doing this work for a long time. And so to have that was super exciting for us. So thank you so much, Paul, for jumping in to take part. And Milat, you did an amazing job. Congratulations. And we're gonna go to the next presentation. And that is Julie Tierney.
Okay, I'm starting my timer. We're good? Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the spinning thing. That's nice, huh? My name is Julie Tierney of JMFT Industries. And it looks like it's cut off a bit, but I can just tell you. So I'm the designer at JMFT, and I've been doing it since 2012, but I would say I'm a brand that's in between fashion and outdoor, and I think it's finally come around. So I can disclose that now. It's more of a thing. So yeah, the market changed, and like doing it since 2012, I actually believed I would be further along, but I think you do have to get people on board with your brand. And we can go to the next slide too, but I want to just reference really quick, the mountain in the background, just reference this in your brain. That is a 14er here in Leadville called Mount Elbert. Next slide. Okay, so in the beginning, I really was like, I'm going to be in topo designs, because when we started this capstone, I had just come out of outdoor retailer and I was feeling pretty confident that I was like, yeah, I can get in topo. But then I really had to like squish it down to like just one baby step to like, I'll just do holiday markets and prepare to get into topo. I'm in no position to get there. So preparing for holiday markets is basically the only markets I do these days, because the other ones they're just not worth your time if you make stuff. And then preparing for a larger retailer, and that is basically, like once you have your product, you have to have manufacturing set up to scale, or you're just going to be, making negative $4 an hour. And so from the original camp that I was in, this was the product I spoke about, the image here of the belt, and that's the product as it is now. That's final answer. Okay, next slide. Okay, so manufacturing, this could be just called expensive hobby. So this is just me getting ready for the markets, but this isn't realistic. It's scaling and manufacturing. You have to have manufacturing. The kingpin to what I do is you have to have manufacturing set up with a product that you can sell if you ever want to scale out, or you're just not even breaking even. So with that, I've just set up, you can't scale up, but it'd be more direct to consumer, and that's with holiday markets. But it's more my takeaway from being in camp in this is that manufacturing is just about as important as your product, because you can't do it all. It's nearly impossible. Okay, and next slide, please. Okay, so here is where I am now. I'm in two retailers. I am in one outdoor retailer, but I still crafted all these, and it was only 40, and it was way too much work. So the first loan that I got out of boot camp paid for those buckles that then Vietnam closed and then came in the wrong color, but still moved forward. And then the loan I got from this capstone, I used for the manufacturing, and I did get the text today that they are done. And so I just need to figure out the packaging, and then I can move on into other retailers to scale. So I'll already have the merchandise, and I won't be crafting, just my own little bags. And that will be the next step. And then I guess we'll go to the next slide. Okay, so here's where you can find me. And I'm basically just getting through the holiday season and, to recap, preparing my manufacturing, getting that nailed down. And with the numbers, they did just change because I just They just came in with different numbers for the manufacturing, but at least it's done and it's set, and we're going to be partners. And then to add, which is a segue, which I do have a new product, which I'm really jazzed about, which is going into manufacturing in a couple of weeks, is my mitts made with microgrid fleece upcycle. And they are called mitt Elberts, but I am putting that in the same formula, if you will. It's like, it's already just going to go right to manufacturing.
Hell yeah. Awesome.
Oh, good. I was under time.
Yeah, you killed it. Can everybody unmute themselves and give Julie Tierney a round of applause?
Nice job.
A lot.
Great work. I was telling, I was listing out everybody who was in this cohort to someone yesterday. It was Ramalis, and he said, Julie Mother effing Tierney, as your logo shows. And I loved it. It made me so happy that he remembered your logo. He remembered who you were, and was excited to get to hear you present. Sorry for the call out, Ramalis. It just really cracked me up. I was really impressed that you remembered her full name and her beautiful logo. Can we get a question for Julie? About her business for Outdoor Meets Fashion, next steps, main takeaways, anything like that.
Yeah, I have a question for you, Julie. Yeah. Great presentation. And I'm so curious because I've actually I'm seeing this in another world as well. And I would love to know, what is your biggest lesson learned shifting into a manufacturing business model? What's your biggest lesson learned and takeaway from going through this?
You need a lot of money to do it. You need a lot of money to burn, actually, to just set on fire, probably. And then I would say product development is a lot longer, which I kind of know because I make my stuff. But I think people that are like, I'm going to have this brand and jump into the market, it's like, well, nobody knows who you are. Like, you do have to kind of like go through every step, I think, even if you don't. Like, I wanted to be like really cool this holiday and be like big man on campus, but I can't make it go any faster. Like, I have to go through like every little. So the belts that I'm actually having manufactured and picking up next week, I probably will have them 1,000% ready by spring, like realistically, with the packaging, because the packaging I am crafting. And it's like, that's no way to live. That's all I have to say.
Thank you.
Really great question, Bria. And thank you so much, Julie. One of the things that I have loved and appreciated about you and this cohort in general is like your openness and honesty of where things are hard. And I think that's part of why we have cohorts. That's part of why we believe in this community model at RMMFI, is because there's so much collective knowledge to share. And we also need community to get through the hard things. That mitten looks amazing. I'm super excited.
It's a little long and it's a little sock puppety, but it's Mitt Elberts. That's the name. And it's the funnest mittens on the planet.
They're beautiful. Thank you so much for that presentation. Great job, Julie. Each slide looked just like so incredibly beautiful. All the photos, I think every single one you've taken yourself. Is that right?
Yeah, on an iPhone 7 Plus.
Yeah. If anyone wants a quick masterclass in taking product photos with an iPhone and making them look incredibly professional, Julie is the one to reach out to, because you are so good at that. Thank you so much, Julie. Great job. All right. Next up, we have two more people left. We have Christy Allen, and then we're going to close out with Brandy Stewart. Great job. Honestly, this time has just flown by because y'all have such interesting things to talk about, and you've been killing it. So really great job. Next up, we're going to go to Christy. You're muted, Christy, just so you know.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
So my name is Christy Allen. I'm an artist and designer and owner of Christy Allen Studio. Christy Allen Studio is known for fresh and joyful art and design. I create with the intent of infusing art into the everyday in a way that's subtle, yet impactful to one's well-being. With a portfolio that includes high quality textiles, limited edition prints, and original artwork, I believe art is more than simply decoration. Most of our days are filled with pretty rote tasks. We work, we pay bills, we cook. We risk moving through our days with our eyes closed. To have beauty quietly embedded into our surroundings wakes us up, gives us pause, and reminds us that each day, every moment, even this moment, holds great value. So that is my elevator speech, and that was a long time in the making. And my cohorts have been waiting to hear that for a very long time. So after a year of being in business, I entered, so I did the boot camp in 2019, and I didn't actually officially launch until 2020. So now it's been another year, and all these happened in November. I am now doing the Business Accelerator program, as you know, and I entered with my nose in the business and with goals that had to do with the here and now, with increasing production and with marketing. But through lots of insightful conversations with my mentor, Jeff Pop, who I just want to thank endlessly right now, we kind of came together to the decision that I should focus on branding, and that I would do well to revisit the question of what my business is at its core. So where I began, where I am now, and where I'd like to go. So I took a long and hard look at who I am as a business owner, what drives and motivates me, and what I feel I can honestly say my mission is. So this presentation will give you a glimpse into the work that I've done in taking a fresh look at where I am now, my brand vision, my values. And Emily, you can, well, I'll just say next slide. There's a bunch of information on the slides that I won't read, but go ahead and switch to the next. So I looked at my brand vision, my brand values, enduring design, enduring product, enduring legacy. Next slide. Next slide. There we go. Next slide. Thank you. I went into specifics and actually put together almost mood boards on these slides, which is something somewhat how I would approach marketing. So instead of focusing strictly on, I make hand towels originally designed, tea towels, I'm now focusing on art in a more general sense, and I can present it that way as well. Next slide, please. So enduring product, high quality and sustainable, meant to be used. Next slide, please. Enduring legacy, the idea that lifting people through art and design, especially with a product that keeps on giving, hopefully will endure. Next slide, please. I looked at the spirit of Christy Allen's studio, the deep well that I create from and am driven by. Next slide. So art is for us all. It's to be lived with and among. Next slide, please. And this art should be used is, one of the things that I heard a lot from customers, that they were worried that it was too pretty to use. And I'm just gonna, in my marketing, which will follow this, attack that head on. Art should be used. It's gonna wrinkle and it's going to get stained, and that's what happens when you're living with it and it isn't tucked away in a drawer. Next slide, please. I hope to create from a place of being brave. I'm going to strive for that in whether I'm painting paintings or tea towels, and hopefully the design will carry that within it and spread that feeling. Next slide. Seek joy. In the end, it's all about joyful connection and lifting one another up. Next slide. So all of this is what I want to be able to portray on, through my website, through my logo, through my market presence. So, you know, I took a look at my logo and what it means to me personally, but also what I think it conveys, both through the colors and the image. Next slide, please. I want my website to be clean and fresh looking. I want it to be approachable and easy to move through. Next slide. The same is true for art fairs and markets. I want, you know, this look of abundance, but also a freshness. Next slide. I revisited, and a lot of this was done in the boot camp, but revisiting it after a year of actually working makes all the difference in the world. So I looked at how I'm different. And largely it comes down to just a different style as well as a different message. And next slide. So all of this has been essential in figuring out how I would approach social media and marketing. You know, before I was kind of coming up dry when I was trying to think of what to write on a blog or what to present in Instagram, you know, a picture of a tea towel, another. But in this case, you know, I can, you know, now knowing what my values are and what my motivation is, creating this bigger picture and underlying foundation allows me to approach Instagram and Facebook with not just here's a picture of the artwork I did, but here is the message I'm trying to deliver. Next slide. So, you know, now having clearly identified my underlying motivation and mission has allowed me to feel truthful in my branding and has tapped into a deep well of marketing content that applies to my current products and those I hope to expand into, because diversifying is something that I want and need to do. It's opened a door at the end of a long hallway, meaning I was traveling along the path making tea towels, but have wanted room to expand into other art forms. So whereas my message in the past was I make tea towels and each towel is hand printed, my focus now is on the creative process and the essential role art in all of its forms plays in our daily lives. The latter allows for growth, choice, outsourcing production, while staying true to the overall goal of bringing art into the days of my customers' lives in a way that's personal and connected to myself as an artist. And finally, I just want to say a gigantic thank you to all the volunteers and especially to my mentor. But it was, the whole process was an experience of like tons of information coming in and then also like peeling back layers of an onion to get to the heart of what I know about my business and where I want it to go. So there was no presenter that wasn't amazing. Thank you.
Yay, can everybody unmute here for Christy?
Good job, Christine.
Thank you.
Amazing work. I know you, like so many of the other entrepreneurs in this group, like you have a full-time job, you're running this business, you have a family, you're trying to also live your own life and take care of yourself as an independent human. And I just have the utmost respect for you, Christy, and all the work you've put into this program, as well as all the other entrepreneurs. Beautiful slides as well. Like that was just very aesthetically pleasing, which makes sense because you're an artist, and I love how like the marketing was weaved into it. Beautiful way to tell the story.
Thank you.
Thank you, Christy. Can we get one question for Christy about her business, her next steps, her takeaways, anything like that?
That must mean I kept it to 6 minutes.
It went a little bit over, but no, you're good. It's so tough because I'm just so excited to hear everybody present. You're doing a great job. Sarah Kraft, I think you have a question.
Yeah, great presentation, Christy. And I am a big fan of yours. As you know, just curious, do you have any holiday specials coming up? I know that's something that you usually do with specific types of prints.
So I do have a towel now that's a holiday towel, and I have fall towels, but I actually am trying to avoid addressing seasons directly. I really want more of, you know, kind of my I want to approach it more as art, not necessarily as seasonal art. So I do have some that are influenced by the season, but not specific to it.
Cool, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Christy, and thanks for your question, Sarah. All right, we're gonna move to our final entrepreneur and presenter for the night, the wonderful Brandy Stewart. Where are you, Brandy? There you go.
All right, now just let me decompress because my lip is sweating right now. I was cool for a minute. Then, okay. So I'm Brandy, and we're going to talk about Activia's Capstone 2021. And based after this presentation, then you will know why. Next slide, please. I'm Activia Stewards Ltd. And there's a brief description of what I make and what I make it for. There's a contact if you would like to get in contact with me. Next slide. So the purpose for doing my capstone is that I want to drive traffic to my website and turn that traffic into sales. Currently, I have little to no conversion rate from my site. So most of the customers that I have, I probably associated with them in some kind of way, maybe through RMMFI, maybe through people that want to support local or small business, but I would really like to have some customers of people that I don't know at all. Another piece is I want to tell customers why I make the products, because a lot of people make the product that I make, and I think that me talking about why is the niche. And I also want to have content to support marketing for a full year. Next slide, please. So on my capstone, I'm gonna talk about who and why. So the customers will see me make the products. And people sell beauty products, but they don't always necessarily make the products that they sell. People have a chance to buy products and put their labels on them and push them out as products. So people are assured that I'm the one making the products, and customers will understand my why, and that'll be told in my story. Next slide, please. So this was a priority for Activia's because Activia's needs to tell a story. I've shown myself and I've given a lot of specifics about herbs and stuff, but I still haven't told my why. I also wanted to use a digital platform to do more direct marketing. Activia's would also like to increase the conversion rate to a measurable level, even if it's just seasonal. And I would also like for my website to generate at least 20% of the business's revenue. I do pop-ups and do the vending opportunities as well, but I would like for people to just go to my site, see stuff that they can't, live without and go ahead and buy there. Next slide, please. So this is my actual capstone, which is my story presentation, and this was created in Canva. So go ahead, please. And I will talk through my capstone presentation. Go ahead, please. So you have to go, so go back a slide, Emily, and then can you click on that, please? And let's just hope this goes nice and smoothly. Yay. So this is my actual capstone. Go ahead and press play, Emily, if it's all working well.
One sec to load.
Yeah, it's a little laggy. So this was created in Canva, hi, I'm Brandy, owner and founder of Activia Stewards Ltd. Here we create custom teas, tea baths, and topicals for all of your wellness needs. Meet with me one-on-one, tell me the specifics of what you need and what your skin needs, and get products precisely crafted for you. The skin is the largest organ on the body of our body. And a lot of things talk about contaminants and toxins coming into the skin. Activia's talks about nutrients and minerals coming into the skin to balance the harmful effects of our environment. Activia's has the wellness touch for you. Activia's understands how the skin works. That is why we create products with ingredients that balance and enrich your skin. Take one small moment and think about all the outside forces wreaking havoc on your skin. Activia's is your skin's solution. This is my list of environmental stresses: dry climate, sun exposure, lack of sufficient diet, lack of sleep, harsh chemicals in skin products, and excessive use of wrong or bad product. But Activia's is here to restore your skin. So here's some visuals from my new website. So there's soap, there's a tea bath, and there is a great way to use the infused oils that I make. Activia's, we make teas to consume, and you'll be able to consume the finest herbal teas, topicals, experience goat's milk, rose water, and aloe vera. Tea baths absorb the elements and the most essential luxurious oils. Luxury soaps use the earth's most precious elements combined with nourishing butter, milk, clay, honey, and flowers. Restore your skin. Just a little brief pop there. Go to my website, store.activias.com, and get a free consultation with customization. And my QR code there. Just another little flashy blurb. Here's some pictures of my actual products, and some of you have some of these now, so I hope you're enjoying. And those are 3 QR codes, one to my site, one to Facebook, and one to Instagram. And that is my capstone. So next slide, please, or slide, please. So go to my next slide, Emily. So these are my tools and goals. So I use Canva, which is a graphic design company. Many of us, like I said, have used that before. They have some pro edition version tool, which I knew nothing about. And I just clicked on it and I just decided to use it for my capstone. That's usually kind of how I do stuff. A big challenge and a big popular thing that people are using is QR codes. The world of QR codes is vicious. I mean, you can go from buying a QR code, paying a monthly fee, to merely right-clicking on your mouse and creating a QR code for absolutely free. So I went from one extreme to the other. I got the 14-day trial, and then I realized I can also just right-click on my mouse and create a QR code that way. Anyway, I also use pictures of my products or pictures of products and pictures of products from the new site so people can get a transition into that. I use images from my new website. Sorry, I think I'm being redundant there. So people can, back to Creta, so people can start to understand how to use the product, how to feel when they're using it, and they can see how it's being used so they can understand my mood and the tone. I use sound to resonate and yield a response. And then I also use my logo, which I love, and I hope everybody loves it too, because it's an egg with a band wrapped around it. And there's a heart on one side and a heart on the other side. And I really love the logo. Next slide, please. So these are all my handles that you guys see here. You can also donate to any of those Cash Apps or Venmo that you see. Please feel free to go to my site and purchase something. And I would really love to do a consultation because I think you get more that way and you get exactly what you want. So moving forward, I have a confidence quote. I embarked on a project and gave it my all with the knowledge of how to apply it to my business and make it grow. And that's some things that I've learned working with RMMFI. Phenomenal program to work with. So thank you guys. All done.
Oh yeah, can we get everybody to unmute and give a round of applause for Brandy Stewart?
Yeah, Brandy.
Brandy.
Good job, Brandy.
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 Thank you guys.
Amazing job, Brandy. It was, your soaps are beautiful for one. Your product is just gorgeous, and you've clearly put a ton of time and effort into that. And then getting to kind of walk through some of your plans and some of your inspiration and how you ground your work was really awesome. So thank you so much for sharing. We don't have time for questions for Brandy, but I'm just in awe. All 10 of those projects were absolutely incredible and covered so many different, all the industries are so different, but also the concepts that you were pulling from. There was a lot of overlap and so much that was different. So I hope that everybody felt like they learned something new about business and about different types of businesses, whatever that may be. This was really incredible for me to just be able to see all of the hard work from 3 months ago, you talking about what you might want your project to be, to some of these final projects, which are incredible. So I would love if everybody could unmute themselves and give a huge round of applause to all of the entrepreneurs for incredible presentations and capstone projects.
Yay.
Can we also give a round of applause to both Emily and Patrick, the leaders of this program? Incredible work. Thank you.
Patrick. And thank you to Anna, my mentor, because if anybody knows me, if I get you somewhere for like 15 minutes and we talk, I'm like, we are so best friends. And so if you've ever had a chance to really talk to me, I really have an intimate connection with most people that I talk to. So whatever you see me screaming and jeering, like I really, 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 really mean it. Like I'm still not faking it. So
yes, round of applause for all the mentors.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. I love that. And for all the expert presenters as well. Woo! Woo! Congratulations. I know this was not easy. Like I said, when we were talking to Christy, everybody here, mentors included, staff and entrepreneurs have so many of the things that are going on. The reality is things aren't easy right now in the world and in a lot of people's personal lives. And I just want to really acknowledge and thank everybody for being here and being part of this community and for all the hard work that went into supporting the entrepreneurs and getting their businesses where they want them to go. Moving in that direction. I also want to give a shout out. 5 of the 10 entrepreneurs had perfect attendance for all 3 months of our program. So that was Brandy Stewart, Christy Allen, Liz Guy, Julie Tierney, and Matt Curry, which is pretty incredible. And then everybody else, no one missed more than 1 or 2 sessions. That's incredible. You all have so much else that you're doing. And the fact that you were so dedicated to this program and to showing up, to share your knowledge, to learn from each other, and to learn from the expert presenters as well. It's really phenomenal. Honestly, I'm pretty sad that this is ending, but I'm just so proud of you all. It's been so much fun getting to know you all and getting to spend the past few months with you guys. I hope